Hey guys, and welcome to the Grounded Father movement. So I'm absolutely stoked to have you guys here. This has been something that's been coming for a very long time, and really, really grateful to be able to create this space for fathers, for busy fathers just like yourself, to come together, to connect with other men, to share your stories, share your challenges, and learn from each other as well as learn from myself. Because being a father on this journey for the last 8, 9 years, it's been absolutely incredible, but yet it's been also really challenging. And one of the biggest things for myself is when I have had good men around me, this journey has been so much easier. And when I learned from other people, this journey has been so much easier. Whereas there was periods where I would fall into the lone wolf, and that's when things would get really hard and really heavy. But the more we can let go of that mentality, the more we can connect with other like-minded men and have that supportive brotherhood around us, the easier this journey gets to help you transform how you show up for yourself, number one, and how you show up for your family as the big picture. Because when we do this, the ripple effect that happens is absolutely huge. So let's get into today's masterclass. So this is the introductory masterclass to everything that is going to be uncovered over the course of the program. And more so, it's just to give the framework of the grounded masculine, what it is all about, and what that means for you. So let's delve in. I'm going to share my screen here. Um, and let's get into it. Cool. So welcome, welcome. So again, as I said, nothing changes until you change. And my biggest intention for the Grounded Father is to be a catalyst of change for you in all areas of your life. And you're going to learn more about the Grounded Masculine methodology and how you can actually make the most out of this program, out of this brotherhood, this movement for yourself. So, what we're going to basically cover on today's session is going to be talking a little bit more about who I am, sharing a bit of my story, and how I came about doing this sort of work. Then, going to be talking about number one principle that I like to speak into, and that is the importance of living at cause. Then, I'm going to be delving into the 3E method. So, this is the method I have created for myself through the Grounded Masculine, and is one that I've been guiding men through over the last 5 years. And it's been the cornerstone of everything that I've been doing within my work over the last 20 years. And then from there, we're going to be stepping more so into the grounded masculine framework. So this is a step-by-step framework, a roadmap, that we use through all of this work to help give you the steps, the tools to be able to start creating massive changes in all areas of your life. And then lastly, we're going to be just spending a bit of time to delve a little bit deeper into finding out your why, because when we have a really compelling why, that makes this journey so much easier. So let's delve into it. Who am I? So my name is Finn, and as you can hear, I'm from Ireland. I am the youngest of three boys, grew up in rural Ireland. And with that, when I was growing up, I didn't have a healthy role models around me. I'm very unhealthy, masculine upbringing in rural Ireland with that just kind of grind and get on with it, just put on a brave face, just toughen up. All of them old things that you keep hearing over and over time again. Like that was what I was surrounded in, as well as that there was pretty much no emotional awareness, emotional intelligence in my family growing up, in the people around me growing up. So it was very much no one knew how to express themselves, no one knew how to show love in a healthy way. And although like I had a pretty good upbringing, like I like really enjoyed my upbringing and stuff like that. I found it was really difficult because I didn't know who I was and I didn't know how to be. I didn't know. I struggled a lot with that within myself, and that meant that I internalized a lot of things for myself. And then fast forward through everything. I studied sports and exercise rehabilitation, so it's basically sports and exercise physio, and that was a massive stepping stone for myself because I knew I wanted to work with people, I knew I wanted to work with the human body, I knew I wanted to work in the health and wellness space, but I didn't know what capacity. And when I started working as a sports physio, like that was a big step into finding my purpose in that way, finding what it is that lights me up and how I can be of service to other people, how I can help other people, because that was something that's so important for me. And it wasn't until looking back, it wasn't until understanding myself more and more over the years of doing personal development that I could see it was because I felt so lost. I didn't have people helping me when I was young. That's why I wanted to be the catalyst for other people. As I've learned stuff, I want to be able to share that with the people around me to, yeah, basically just be that leader, be that person to provide that support in a healthy way. And it's one of the things working as a sports physio was absolutely amazing, but I knew that wasn't all I wanted to do. After a couple of years of working in Ireland, I moved to Australia with my partner, and again working in the sports scene, doing a lot more PT, strength conditioning type stuff, but also started working in a holistic gym. And that was the first time like I'd already started to understand myself, started looking into personal development a bit more, but then starting to work with a coach, very holistically minded, Czech practitioner, Charles Poliquin type training, that opened up my whole avenue to this whole new model of working with the human body through a holistic lens. So it's looking at our exercise, looking at our nutrition, looking at our environment, looking at our spirituality, and looking at all of these other different components and how that impacts us as a being. And that put me down a big learning path for quite a few years where I went deep into my own personal development to understand myself better, but also went deep into learning more about holistic health and well-being to help serve my clients. And through that work, I started understanding myself more and more. I started being able to have massive positive impacts in people's lives, coaching them, not just for the physio side of things, but coaching them through a holistic model of being through their exercise, through the nutrition, through their environment, through understanding themselves better. And is a really beautiful time to be able to start really putting a lot of these things into place. But as everything goes, once I stepped into fatherhood, that's when a lot of things changed for myself because I realized very early on stepping into fatherhood that I was searching for things outside of myself. I was searching for all of these things outside of me, to fix the wounds, to fix the trauma, to fix the hurt and pain that was inside of me. And it wasn't until step into the fatherhood that I realized that it actually has to come from within rather than looking for all of this stuff outside of myself. So put a long story short, that put me on the dark night of the soul journey to going through a lot of pain, lot of hurt, a lot of really challenging times for myself because I still had a lot of these old things that I was holding on to, these old identities of wearing a mask, of putting on a brave face, of toughening it up and just getting on with things myself. And it wasn't until I got to a breaking point that I knew something needed to change. I knew I needed to change. And that was where I started to actually reach out and get proper support from men and started to delve deeper into men's work. And this was 7 years ago, pretty much to the time of when I'm recording this, because that was where a massive turning point was within my life was like 7 years ago, pretty much to these couple of weeks that I'm recording this. And over the last 7 years, it has been a fucking hell of a journey. Because I've been doing health and wellness, I've been doing coaching for up until 12, 13 years at this point, but then going deeper into the men's workspace, going deeper into myself, looking at the shadows, looking at the things that I was avoiding, that was a massive challenging time for myself. And that was where a lot of the principles that I teach now have come from. And that's where the grounded masculine comes from, because I needed to be really strong in my grounded masculine energy to be able to navigate that. And be the type of father, be the type of husband, and be the type of man that I wanted to be, that I knew I could be. And fast forward over the last 7 years, it has been one hell of a journey. And that's over the last 4 or 5 years is when I've really stepped into working specifically with men. Whereas before I worked with men and women, but it's been over the last 4 years or so where I've worked specifically with men and specifically with fathers, because I see there's such a gap there for that support, because I know what it is like being a busy father with young kids, running a business, trying to be the provider for my family, trying to be a supportive husband, trying to be a present father while also looking after my own mental and emotional well-being is bloody tough. So we don't need some 20-something-year-old that doesn't have any kids to tell us how we should be doing it. We need people who have walked that path in front of you and figured this out for themselves to be able to share that wisdom for yourselves. And that is why I do what I do within the grounded masculine, why what I do with what I do within the grounded father. And for myself now, this is one of the latest pictures of our beautiful little plan. So we've got four kids. Last year, we moved from Australia back to Ireland after being in Australia for 12 years. We came back to back to Ireland, and been here for the last 14 months. And that was where we welcomed our little son, Coo, into the world. He's our little Irish baby, and the other three are our little Aussies. And it's been an interesting journey back here over the last 14 months. It's been a really challenging time in many different ways, but it's also many beautiful opportunities for growth for both myself and my wife and our family as a whole. And we're just at a point now where we're getting things ready to move back to Australia and really settle in because we have answered the call. We've figured out what it is that we want and what we need for our family. And yeah, really excited about this next chapter. But it's one of the big things with where the Grounded Father came from, and like one of the core programs that's in the Grounded Father is becoming a Grounded Father. That was a program that I created about 18 months ago. And I had this deep yearning to create this program, which was going to be the cornerstones, the foundations of all of the work that I had been doing over the last number of years with men. And I created this program. I spent months and months delving into it, piecing it all together and recording it. And I done nothing with it because I realized that I wasn't creating that program for anyone else but myself. Because that becoming a grounded father program, which is the cornerstone of this, is what I use and what I have been embodying for myself over the last 18 months to get through, which probably is one of the most challenging years of my life between packing our life up in Australia, moving to the other side of the world, and trying to figure out the lay of the land and try to honor our values in a place that doesn't meet our values, and then welcoming a child into the mix of that and everything that comes with it as well. It's like being stretched to every fucking level possible. But I've been able to manage that for myself and be a rock from a father or from a family because of the work that I had done on myself through that Becoming a Grandfather program. Because it wasn't until about 6 months into being in Ireland that I realized all the stuff that I am doing right now is what I created that program to help me right now. And I'm getting to the point now, this is where this is all coming to life now, where I'm excited to be able to teach that to other people because I see how transformative that is, because I know what has we have gone through as a family over the last 18 months and how much that would have buckled me and put me into a really dark place previously to the work that I've been doing on myself and how strong I have felt moving through that. And that is what I want to be able to create for you guys who is in this community, in this program, in this movement, to be able to have the tools, have the resources, have the resilience, have the trust and belief in yourself to navigate them challenging times as a father because they're coming. We all know that. And that is why I do what I do. Because fatherhood is one of the most beautiful times of your life, but it's also going to be one of the most challenging times of your life. You're going to be stretched beyond means. You're going to be challenged in many different ways. So it's how you show up in face of that adversity is going to determine how you see yourself as a man. So that is why it is my mission to help you to transform yourself, to become a leader for yourself and become a leader for your family. So sounds pretty exciting, pretty daunting, but as I said, this is what the idea of this program is. This is what the idea of this community is to provide a space that's going to support you every step of the way so you don't have to do it alone. So from here, before I go into the next step of it, it's looking at one of the things what I want to speak into. Like when I speak into the grounded masculine, when I speak into the grounded father, I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? And it's like to me, the grounded masculine is to be grounded within yourself, to be able to hold yourself through challenging times, to be the lighthouse in the storm when shit hits the fan, because let's be honest, shit is going to continuously hit the fan. It's for you to be strong enough within yourself to hold yourself, to honor yourself, and navigate them challenges in a lot better place. And in turn, by doing so, you're being that rock for the family, for the people around you. Whenever they feel like they're challenged, whenever they feel they're wavering, they know that you're able to hold them through them challenging times. So that is what being grounded in that masculine leadership means to me. And when I speak about the grounded masculine, it's not just focusing on the hyper masculine, I'm the leader, I'm the alpha. It's looking at that dance between your masculine and your feminine because you need to be able to dance between your masculine and your feminine. You need to be able to understand what your healthy traits, what your unhealthy traits are in both your masculine and your feminine, and be able to navigate that in a healthy way. Because as a father, as a husband, as a leader, it is so important to be able to have that ability to dance between that masculine and feminine. And to me, that's what being grounded in your masculine is, to be able to have that ability to dance between both and hold yourself and honor yourself between both. Cool. So let's dive in to this is probably one of the most important principles of everything that I teach, and the cornerstone to everything that I teach in the work that I do. And that is the importance of living a cause. So what do I mean about living a cause? So you see, we have two ways to show up in life. We can either live a cause or we can live an effect. So when I say live in a cause, that is live in a cause. That is where you are taking full ownership and responsibility of everything that is happening to you, for you, and around you. Whereas when you live at effect, that's where you're living at effect to all the shit that is happening around you. That is where you are playing the victim, playing the blame game, playing and pointing the finger at other things rather than taking full responsibility and ownership of what's going on. So that can sound a bit harsh sometimes, but at the end of the day, no matter what has happened in your life, no matter what argument you have had, no matter what problems you have had, no matter what challenges you have faced, you are the one thing that is at the scene of every single crime in your life. So allow that to sink in for a moment. You are the one thing that has been present at every single problem, every single challenge, every single speed bump, every single thing that has happened in your life. You are the one thing that has been present there. So this is why it is imperative to live a cause, to take full ownership and responsibility of yourself, no matter what. Whereas if you start blaming the finger, if you start pointing the finger, pointing the playing a victim card, if you start saying this and that and having these all of these different excuses in your life, that's going to have a negative impact on what's going on for yourself. And when we look at it, there's a direct correlation between living a cause, living an effect, and the success that we have in life. And when I say success in life, that is what success means to you. Because for all of us, success might be something different. Success is looking at like financial, it could be your relationship, it could be your physical health, it could be fucking anything, where you live, what that looks like, whatever success looks like to you is going to be directly correlated with if you are living at effect or if you are living at cause. Because the more we live a cause, the more success we're going to create. Whereas if you're living down here in effect, you're pointing the finger, playing the victim, you're going to have a lot less success. The more you're living a cause, the more you're taking ownership and responsibility, the more success you're going to have. And the beauty of it is, these lines are infinite. The more you can live a cause, the more success that you're going to create in your life. And that is where that growth is infinite. So just allow that one to sink in for a moment. And this is something that is really important to check in for yourself, is like, where are you showing up? Where are you taking responsibility for your life? And what are the things that you have been avoiding? What are the things that you've been burying your head in the sand for? What are the things that you have been pointing the finger at or playing the blame game or being the victim in? Because the sooner you can start owning your shit, the sooner you can start stepping up and taking responsibility of that, the sooner you're able to it's going to start flipping that and start to create success and start creating real lasting change within them areas of your life. Cool. So from here, let's delve into the 3E method. So as I said, the 3E method, this is the methodology that I use for the work that I do. And this is something that has been born over the last 20 plus years of working with people from sports, from physio, from strength conditioning, from holistic personal training, for life coaching, for men's work, for personal development, for everything. It is like I have been working with individuals for 20 plus years. I am really good at observing patterns, really good at figuring out ways to systems that we can start creating lasting change within ourselves. And this is the accumulation of the last 20 plus years of work for myself into a methodology that you can use to start creating change. And this is where a lot of my work is based. So when we start looking at the 3E method, the first one is looking at explore. So we need to explore and understand where we are right now within our life. Again, this comes back to that living at cause, is fucking taking stock of your life right now and understanding where you are right now, taking that ownership, taking that responsibility of what's going on, what's working well for you, what's not working well for you. It's shining a light on the stuff that you have been avoiding. Get really fucking clear on what that looks like for yourself right now. And once you know where you are right now, then that next step of the exploration is looking, it's like, right, where do you want to be? How does your life want to look? 6 months, 12 months, 2 years' time, 5 years' time. What does that actually start looking like for yourself? So when we look at ourselves now, where we are, what's going well, what's not going well, and when we look at, say, 6 months' time, even for that first step, what needs to change is the gap that's in the middle, because there's always going to be a gap in the middle. So once we explore this, once we understand this, that is starting us, it's starting to allow us to see what is in that gap in between. So then we can start putting things in place to start creating change. And that's where we move into the evolution piece. So with the evolve, with that evolution is what needs to change within yourself that's going to allow you move from point A to point B. That's going to allow you to move from where you are right now to where it is that you want to be. Because at the end of the day, when we look at goals, when we set ourselves tasks that we want to work towards, it's who we want to be in 6 months' time. The easiest way to achieve that is to embody who that person is now. Evolve your patterns, evolve your beliefs, evolve your stories, your habits. The more we can start changing them into that person, that future version of ourselves, the quicker we're going to be able to be that person now. So like this is where we go through an evolution of who you are right now to who's Finn 2.0. What is what does he look like? What does his habits look like? And how can I live them right now? And that is that evolution piece. That is where we're letting go of all of the shit that's holding us back. And that's where we're taking ownership, taking responsibility, creating discipline within our lives to start living that future version of ourselves. So then once we start evolving through that piece, this is where we go to the embodiment one. And this is the one that is missing for so fucking many men in today's society because we do not embody the changes that we're trying to see in ourselves. So many people are really good at this awareness piece. So many people have know all of the shit that you should be doing. You're listening to the podcast, you're following the influencers on social media, you're reading the personal development books, and you have all of this awareness, but you just keep going around in circles like this, and you're wondering why the fuck is nothing changing? But nothing's changing because you're missing this embodiment piece. You're missing that next level of going to that next level of discipline, that next level of consistency, that it just becomes your new norm. And that is one of the things that the grounded father is created for, is to help you get to this embodiment piece, because it's really hard to embody that new norm on your own. Because as soon as shit hits the fan, as soon as stuff comes up for yourself, that's when your old patterns want to kick in, and that's where you fall back into that old way of being. And how many of you are listening to this is like have awareness of what it is you do. You start this new plan for yourself, and things are going well for 2, 3 weeks, and then someone gets sick or a deadline comes in at work, and then everything just drops off, and then you fall back into them old patterns, and you're like, how the fuck did it get back here? And you beat yourself up because you tried and you failed yet again, and then you feel sorry for yourself. You have a pity party for a while, and then a couple of weeks or a couple of months time, you dust yourself off and you go again because you listen to another new podcast, and that gave you a little push to go to that next level. So then you try again until something happens that makes you fall back down, and you just stay in this cycle. Whereas to get to that embodiment piece, that is where it is so important to have people in your corner to support you, to hold you accountable, and to push you out of your comfort zone to get to that next level self and embody who it is. So that just becomes your new norm. And beauty of it is, once we work through the explore, the evolve, and body, it doesn't just stop there. This is a continuation because you go to that next level self. As I said in that previous slide, the more you live a cause, the more success that you can create. So you don't just go through this once and think you've got your fucking shit together. As you go through this once, and then once you get to that next level self, then that's where you can get comfortable, allow yourself to sink into that space, take stock of everything for yourself, making sure everything's working really well. And then that's where you can explore. It's like, right, this is where I am right now. Cool. Where do I want to go next? And this is where you can go through that process again. And it's one of the main reasons why this is a spiral, because we are constantly moving around in these spirals. And like the thing is with that is like as we keep moving in these spirals, this is where we're moving to that next level self, moving to that next level self. Get comfortable here, hold that next pattern until it is embodied, and then we go again. Whereas one of the things that most people fail with is to try to push, push, push too soon without allowing themselves to get that holding pattern, allowing that new version of themselves to get locked and loaded in. So I'm really excited to be able to bring you through this and guide you through this. So the next thing to look at is going to be working at the grounded mat and road map. So again, all of this sounds really cool. All of this sounds pretty daunting because there's a lot of shit that we need to change. So you're kind of like, where do I need to start? And again, this the grounded man roadmap. This is the roadmap that I use. It is the roadmap that I've been using for the last number of years to be able to help many, many, many fathers, just like yourself, create massive lifelong changes for themselves and for their families by embodying that next level self for themselves. And we do this in an easy step-by-step process because we have a roadmap that we can follow to make it easy to create change. Whereas one of the things that I have seen too often, and is one of the things that I get caught up in many, many times at the start of my own personal development journey, as well as my own men's work journey, was I constantly was looking for the next big breakthrough. I was constantly seeking these external things outside of myself, thinking that was going to give me all the answers. I was sitting with plant medicine, hoping that was going to give me the fucking answers that I needed. I was chasing down that next big breath work experience, having these big breakthrough experiences, and do this next 6 week course, and do this, do that. And I was having these big epiphanies, these big realizations with it, but nothing was actually sticking, nothing was landing for myself over a long period because I was trying to just skip some of the foundations. I was trying to skip ahead through these big end pieces rather than actually having a solid foundation to work from. And this is where so much of this work comes from. It is looking at your foundations because that is what is fucking key. And that is what most men are missing in today's society. So again, let's look at what this roadmap looks like. So the first step is find your gaps. So this is that evolution, that explore piece. So it's going through figuring out where you are right now, where it is you want to be, and what is that gap for yourself. So what is the things that you need to work on for yourself? So once you have that first piece of the puzzle, that's where you can go through to set your foundations. So when we look at setting the foundations, this is all about creating a baseline to hold yourself from. Because as I said, there's no point chasing these fucking big breakthroughs, these big plant ceremonies, these big aha moments if you don't have any solid foundations to hold yourself through. And when I talk about your foundations, that's looking at your exercise, that's looking at your nutrition, that's looking at your hydration, your sleep. It's looking at your meditation, your journaling practice, like that reflective process. It's looking at what your go-to crutch is. What is them things that you go to self-soothe, to numb out, to avoid whenever shit is getting really tough. And whenever you look at them foundations for yourself, whenever you really understand what they are for yourself and start putting some things in place to hold yourself in that, that's where it's going to be a massive, massive change for everything that you do. And again, this is why the next step from this masterclass is setting your foundations, is finding your gaps and setting your foundations. Like we literally go through a short video with an action step to take on each of them different components so you can set these solid foundations for yourself. And as you do so, then that allows you to start integrating the different systems that's going to hold you through this. This is creating how you plan your time, plan your energy to be able to show up in a healthy way for yourself. So it's looking at planning your months, planning your weeks, planning your days, and allowing you to give you the tools, give you the support that's going to hold you with these changes that you're starting to create for yourself. So some people can have a lot of resistance with bringing in a system of organization, but the people who resist it the most are probably the ones who are saying that they're constantly time poor. Whereas like you're not actually time poor, you're just focus poor. So again, allow that one to sink in. You're not actually time poor, you're focus and priority poor because you're not focusing on your priorities. You're not focusing on the things that are actually important to you, and you're pissing away time on stuff that actually aren't important to you. So as you integrate your systems, that's going to allow you to set your foundations, that's going to allow you to hold yourself. That's where things are going to start really changing. So then that next step going from there is creating your code. So what does your code look like? What does like your daily, weekly actions look like for yourself. This is going to stem a lot from your foundations and your systems that you're setting up for yourself. Because again, with your foundations, with your systems, that is looking at the things that is going to get you to where it is that you want to be, looking at what Fin 2.0 is, and then that code that you're creating for Fin 2.0 is who that future version of yourself actually is, how he chooses to show up, how he chooses to live for himself. And as you start living and embodying that, that's where it starts becoming your new norm. So this is where you go through the system in that way. The next thing is looking at how to embody your masculine and your feminine energy. Again, this is such an important step for so many people because it's understanding why you do what you do, why you act the way you act, why you react the way you react. When you start understanding your masculine energy, your feminine energy, as well as your wounded masculine and your wounded feminine, it is going to give you so much more fucking clarity in yourself. So then you can start integrating different things and start responding in a healthier way and starting to take control of yourself in a different way. The next step is looking at the stress resilience, how you can start understanding your nervous system, how you can start understanding your body's response to stress, and then how you can start building more resilience within that. So you are in control of your nervous system, you are in control of how you are responding to situations rather than reacting. Then the next step is building out your medicine pouch. So what I talk about with your medicine pouch is this is all of the different tools, this is the tricks, this is the things that work specifically for you that is going to allow you to really hold yourself within your masculine and feminine and your nervous system. So when we go through that medicine pouch, that is going to be unique to you, and I'm going to help give you lots of resources and support to be able to create that so you know what that looks like for yourself. And this is looking at a way of not just being like the big things that you think of, it's looking at what small, simple little things that doesn't take much time or energy. It just takes intention to start managing yourself in a better way. So once we go through all of this, once we start moving through here, you're getting a really clear picture of yourself. You're starting to show up in so much more of a healthier way. Like the transformation that guys experience by the time they get to this point is fucking huge. And to be honest, it doesn't take that fucking long to do it. The ripple effect that this has on yourself and on your family, even on your work, is going to be absolutely mammoth. I think that can just take the matter of maybe 3, 4 weeks to get to this point of starting to actually implement change for yourself. And then that next step from here is getting clear on your vision and your values. So the reason I put this in here now is you are actually embodying this future version of yourself. So then this is where we can fine tune what that vision looks like, what your values look like. So then that's going to take this embodiment, that's going to take your code, that's going to take all of this to a whole new level where it is going to be so fucking clear, it's going to be so alive within your body. And then that's going to make this next phase of the journey so much more enjoyable and so much more easeful to actually start creating long lasting change. Then once we go through here, then there's other things that we can start working on. This is where you start meeting your shadows. This is where you start doing like a lot more of the deeper healing work, like looking at your mother, father wounds, and there's more and more stuff that can come up through this point. But again, the reason why I put the shadow work and these deeper wounds, more of that trauma stuff, more of the different things in through here, like that's later down the track because for me, I believe you need to have solid foundations to hold yourself through these challenging things. Whereas if you're going deep into your shadows, if you're going deep into these wounds, but yet you don't have a foundation to hold yourself with, this is going to get really challenging. Your nervous system is going to freak the fuck out, and then that's going to be reverting back to old shitty coping mechanisms to try to hold yourself through it, and then that keeps you in a vicious cycle with that. And this is coming from lived experience myself, as well as this is coming from seeing so many other men over the years through different programs, through different things that I've been part of, to fall into that trap where they're trying to go too deep too soon without having a baseline, without having the foundations to hold themselves through them big changes. So as you're able to work through all of this together, then that goes through that next level. So nearly like as you get from 1 to 7 to 8, that's that first evolution of the explore, evolve, and body, and then that's where we go through. This is the next evolution, is where we're getting into the deeper work and the darker side of things. So again, this is fucking game changer. I hope that gives you a lot more of an idea of what to expect with this work. And I know it sounds like a lot, but like the way the Grounded Father is created is there's heaps of pre-recorded training set up within this for for setting your foundations. There's a whole module all on your foundations that is included within this, and then like there's a whole course in itself that looks at a lot of these sort of areas. Then there's other trainings that's going to be in here for your systems, for your values, and then as we go into the deeper side of things, there will be more trainings, more master classes coming down the track that's looking at your shadows, looking at the different wounds, as well as the weekly group calls that we have. I'll be able to use them to delve into different topics and stuff like that as well as we move further down the path. So there's going to be so many fucking resources available to you to help you work through all of these different stages and give you the support and give you the accountability and give you that connection to be able to move through all of this stuff. Because as I said, success isn't just goes in one straight line. There's going to be constant challenges pop up. Things be going really good, stuff will come up, stuff will challenge you, and you might drop down a little bit. But instead of dropping way far down, like I said, you'll be able to catch yourself, you'll be able to level things out before going back up again. So it will be a bumpy ride, trust me, but know that you have support through every step of the way. Cool. So the last one that I want to look at is looking at your why. Like I love this quote from Eric Thompson, E.T., the hip hop preacher. I fucking love that dude. It's like when you find your why, you find a way to make it happen. So from here, I want you to just to take a little moment to stop and pause and just connect with yourself. If you want to close down your eyes and just taking a few big deep breaths in and out. So as you're taking that breath in and out, and just taking that moment just to feel into your body. Just feel that excitement from everything that we've spoken into so far. There might be some nerves creeping in because it can feel like, oh fuck, there's a big journey ahead of me. But allow yourself to feel all of them feelings as you're breathing in and out, just connecting in with yourself, with your body. Feel that excitement, feel that nerves, and just allow yourself to be open, allow yourself to be curious for what's to come. Take another couple of big deep breaths in and out, and in and out. And as you're continuing with that nice, slow, long breath in and out, I want you to just take a moment to, again, just ask yourself why you're here right now, why you decided to jump into the Grounded Father movement in the first place. What was that initial thing that called you to do this work, to step up into that next level of yourself? Was it because you can see more potential within you? You're sick and tired of how things have been. It's like looking at your family, looking at your partner, looking at your kids, how you want to be best possible version for them. Just allow yourself to get that clear, paint that picture clear for yourself. And allow yourself to feel that in your body, feel that into your heart space. Like, why are you here? Why are you choosing to do this work right now? And as you're breathing in and out, as you're connecting in with that, I want you to take a few moments just to open your eyes and put pen to paper and just journal on that, just write on that of why it is that you're here. What is that why for you? Allow yourself to connect with that. And then once you've spent a few minutes writing that out, just give yourself some thanks and gratitude for being here, for doing this work, for stepping into this space. And have a little look. There's going to be another PDF that will come with this that'll have a few other questions and a few other little points to kind of look at to really fine tune that craft and fine tune that why for yourself. Because it's really, really important to have a clear why. Because again, as I said, once you find your why, you find a way to make it happen. And the more we can connect with that, the more we can allow ourselves to step into that next version of ourselves. So just allow yourself to get excited for what's to come. And again, thank you for investing in yourself in this way. Big love.